I apologize if it's loud, but we're just making a quick pit stop at Monte Lake. It's a popular agate spot, and we're just gonna take a quick pit stop and some agates quickly. So hopefully we find something. The reason Monte Lake is so popular is because they have some eye agates. As you can see, I've found a couple examples of eye agates. So that's why people like looking at Monte Lake, is the agates with the eyes in them. Now I have to do a bit of research on what the eyes are. I'll let you guys know once I do some research what causes the eyes exactly, because I don't think it's agate. I think it's some other type of mineral, but I'll definitely let you guys know. Though the agates aren't as big as the ones at Douglas Lake Road, you can still find some cool stuff. Check out this seam of what looks like some kind of like brown yellow opal. And I got a nice nodule and matrix, and I got a nodule behind there that's got some eyes in it. So it's cool material, and you just kind of climb along the edge and you look for your agate nodules, and the ones that are the really cool ones are the ones that have the eyes in it. I apologize for the small amount of infield video that I got on this trip. It was a quick pit stop, and we were literally just collecting in the ditch because that's where you're allowed to collect. Farther in, that's all claimed, from my understanding. So you literally basically can collect the material right by the side of the road, but you can't really go any farther. So it was kind of rough trying to video it, and we were on a time crunch, so this was like maybe 15-20 minutes of collecting. But let's look at some of the material. There are a couple here that I didn't find. So there were two guys that took me out, some local collectors, Cody and Michael. Michael gave me this. He found it on a previous pit stop. You can see it's chock full of eyes, to the point where on the back the eyes have kind of just melded into one, and that can happen. The eyes themselves are not actually chalcedony. They are a different material. I believe maybe a type of zeolite. I'm not 100% sure. But they look really interesting polished up. And they do actually take a pretty decent polish. The other one that I did not collect, this was found on the pit stop by my friend Cody, and he so nicely gave it to me, which I really appreciate. Now this isn't fully polished up. Actually, I have to go back to some lower grits because there's some scratches that I didn't notice on the edge. But you can see there's some, though the material that makes up the eyes can also form some very interesting kind of red plumy kind of ball shaped. You can see those spheres in there. And more of that material. But yeah, this will be another project. But this will get back to the flat lap. I'll go down to lower grits and polish it up to higher. But for an example of one that's actually polished, this was just a rough test one. It was kind of a partial one that I had found, but it had some eyes exposed, so I wanted to see how the eyes would fare on the flat lap, and it did pretty good. So later in this video, I'm going to take a couple candidates and take them to the flat lap as well. But a lot of these raw ones kind of look very basic, but you can just see the eyes. But these eyes tend to undercut when they're tumbled. So going on the flat lap, going on a nice flat surface seems to be the best option. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff happening. Some zeolite-y, possible zeolite-y kind of material. Now some of this material can be quite quartzy actually, and this one, I believe the majority of this nodule is going to be quartz, but then the eyes themselves are surrounded by like this layer of chalcedony, which creates a really cool look. I'm debating on whether I should polish this one up. I think it will get put on the flat lap to get a kind of a partial polish, because those eyes are pretty cool, kind of bordered by the chalcedony. In general, this material is pretty interesting, but most of it was quite small, like this size, and then the eyes don't show up that well, especially with like examples like these. The eyes get really small, and then these are kind of just hard or basically impossible to do anything with, so they're just kind of examples, raw examples that I'll hold on to. But still kind of cool to have. This one doesn't really have as many eyes. It does have like some weathered ones, but you can see some of that red kind of pluminess from the same mineralization, similar to the red pluminess that you saw on that partially polished big one. And some more interesting eyes. Altogether, pretty fun material. I'll show you some of the seam material that I brought back, and then we'll get to some polishing and look at some of the specimens polished up. Oh, before I forget, this is a strange one. You can see these spheres, which I think you can see kind of, this is a quartzy, kind of lumpy, broken up material. And I think these spheres, the outside yellow material is the chalcedony, and then inside the spheres you can see these little red dots, which is quite interesting. That kind of just shows you kind of the anatomy of these eyes. It's not 100% chalcedony, it's that red mineral that hopefully I'll get a name for, surrounded by some somewhat clear chalcedony. I took the larger seam chunk to the saw, and it kind of fractured on me. This is the biggest chunk that I have. It's got like chalcedony with like these weird yellow stripes going through it, and then it's got kind of this white outer opaly chalcedony mix on the kind of on the edges. It's a weird little piece. I'll do something with it. Maybe I'll polish it up in this video, maybe I won't get to it. So far, so good, except for one specimen where the eyes were just falling out, because that can happen. Some of them are not as solid in there, but these are turning out pretty good so far. Just kind of doing a free form polish on this one. Try and just accentuate those eyes with a bit of the chalcedony going through. I think it's working out pretty well. This is that small one. Nothing super fancy, a couple eyes and kind of red plumy bits. The seam material is taking a good polish too. Now this one's turning out quite well. The eyes are a bit eroded, so they're not perfect, but I'm really liking this kind of clear chalcedony with like flecks of green from the outer skin of the agate. For example, here's the back unpolished, mixed in with the red eyes. Pretty fun. Let's get to polishing to get the well, I've got one more plate before I get to the polishing step. So let's do that and look at them once they're done polished. So, y'all took a good polish, and I'm pretty happy. I'll take a closer look at this one under the microscope because I want to see what those yellow streaks are like under the microscope. But yeah, this material polished up pretty well, just like that one polished piece I showed at the beginning. Once you get through the first stage, this is a pretty easy material to polish. I'm really liking the look of these specimens. Kind of a nice mix of the eyes and the agate with a bit of green in the mix. I think it's pretty darn cool. And check out this awesome piece that my friend Michael gifted me. The eyes, some of the eyes took a pretty good polish. The ones that are a little bigger, I'm wondering if there's a little bit of calcity in the mix, whereas the ones that are smaller, they're a bit more hollow, and they didn't seem to take as good of a polish, but that's okay. Kind of just free-formed this piece, just so that I'd have this face. But I think it still looks pretty cool because we got these kind of pockets of agate interspersed between the eyes. And I'm wondering, I'm going to take a closer look at some of the hollow parts of these eyes. I was just looking online on Mindat, and it showed that there were some zeolites, some micro zeolites there. So I'm wondering if these things are zeolites, the hollows might have some interesting stuff in them. If they do, I'll throw up some pictures. So this brings us to the end of the video. Please, folks, in the comment section below, please let me know what you liked the most out of these. Also, as well, if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. It helps out the channel a lot. And please, folks, just have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.